All right, everybody. It is our monthly Evergreen Foundation's Expert Guest Call. This is where we bring one of the beautiful people that we've met along the way in school and elsewhere and bring them in so they can spread their genius zone to all of our amazing members. We open these calls up to Evergreen Evolution for free, so you guys get a chance to see what we kind of do in Evergreen Foundations with our group calls. So, without further ado, tonight, Angela is going to do Angela Neufeld from British Columbia, Canada, is going to do an amazing inspirational call for us on tapping into your intuition to chase your big dreams. This is something I cannot wait to hear. So, without further ado, welcome Angela to Evergreen Foundations and Evergreen Evolution. And I can't wait to hear about your topic tonight.
Hi, everybody. Hi, nice to be here. Thanks so much for inviting me. That was really kind. I'm excited. These are some topics that I absolutely love and I focus on pretty much daily. So I'm excited to be here and talk about it. So I better introduce myself for those of you who I haven't met before. Nice to see some familiar faces. Um, I'm Angela. I'm a professional counselor and coach. And it has always, for me, it's always been about inspiring other people to keep going, to push through and just maintain hope and turn your pain into purpose and really dig into figuring out what that purpose is for you and focusing on your big dreams and goals. And that's why today I thought it was the perfect kind of topic to talk about big dreams and intuition and some of the things that hold us back. And I have my own community here on school. It's called Create, Heal, Shines. And I'm also part of Brandon's community, Evergreen Evolution. So it's fun being part of these amazing communities and meeting all these awesome people along the way, which is really fun. So um, I think that no matter what happens in your life, when you have a big dream and a big goal, and it's on your heart and it's always been on your heart, that no matter what kind of stumbling blocks and challenges and things that life throws at you, you always come back to that thing. You always come back to that dream. You always come back to that thought. And for me, there's been so much magic in that, focusing on my dreams. And I've been through I've been through the ringer in my life, like a lot of you have, and been through a lot of life's challenges and crises. And there's so much power in dreaming. And I love to talk about it because it's like this undeniable pull that I feel that we're just constantly pulled towards, like almost like whispers from your soul. This is where we'll be tapping in a bit to our intuition and things like that, calling you to become more of who you already are. And dreaming is so big for me. Dreaming is what held me going in the toughest places and times in my life. Dreaming is what allowed me to come to this place where I am right now. It was only about 2 years ago on May 5th that I was sitting in a hospital having open heart surgery and having a heart transplant. And so dreaming is something that I always came back to. Dreaming is something that kept me going. All of the things that that you want in your life and the big dreams and goals that you work towards and that you want before some big crisis happens, they don't just go away. They're always there. They're always behind the scenes. And when something terrible happens in your life or you go through a lot of challenges, sometimes it's easy to feel like, well, those dreams are gone. Like that, I'm not going to be able to do any of this anymore. I'm not going to be able to have any of this anymore. I'm not going to be able, is it even worth bothering going towards these things? Should I even focus on them? And for me, I had to bring my focus back 100% to that to be able to get through. I used that as like a stepping stone to make it through all of this healing journey. And today, just today, I came from chemotherapy. I just had chemotherapy this morning. I still have it as far as I know, for the rest of my life, every month. I've been through the really horrible chemo where your hair all falls out and all of that, which is the reason I had to have the transplant because I have this type that affected my heart and other organs and put me in heart failure. And so as I'm sitting there getting that and I'm looking out the window and I'm thinking about doing this call, I focused on what I really want to get across is that the dreams are always there. They don't go away, even when we're going through the thing. And if you can focus on taking all of the things that you've went through, all of the, if you look back on your life and you see it like a timeline and you see all of the resilience and things that you've made it through and surpassed and came through. And this isn't about focusing on the past, it's about focusing on the present to make the future something different. But when you look, it's okay to look at the past and go, wow, wow, what have I, look how I've grown. Look what I've become. Look how resilient I am. I'm still here. I've made it through all of these big challenges. And I think we can really use those to create like this new iteration of ourselves, this new, help facilitate this new level of growth that we're going through because this can be really powerful by tapping into that pain and shifting that pain into a really some serious purpose. And that's what I've really done. Now, I've been doing coaching for a lot of years since about 2012. And then I moved into something different. I ended up doing different jobs. And then I left that. And then I became a professional counselor. And then I had my own private practice. And then I was also working at a transition house, a women's shelter, and a homeless shelter on the side when I got very sick. And it just turned my life into like, did a 180. And in that time, I thought to myself that all of these beautiful things and things I wanted to do and all the stuff we have on our bucket list were going to be gone forever. Because when you're told the word terminal, that's like, I can't even explain the feeling that you have when you hear that word. And so I just focused on this time of like that this isn't my time. My dream list is too big. My bucket list is massive. I have so many things I want to do and this is not part of it. I'll use this as a stepping stone to really allow my purpose to come out fully, but I'm not letting it be everything. I'm not letting it take over. I'm not going down the tunnel of doom, which is easy to do. And, you know, you go in there in and out in ebbs and flows and moments and hard times. But in the big picture part, I really focused on what I'm going to do when I get out of here, how I'm going to really focus on making the most of the time that we have on this earth. And I always tell all of my clients to focus on, we only have one life. This is it. This is not a warm up round. A lot of times we just waste so much time in our life just piddling around and it's okay to be. I'm a big advocate of just allowing yourself to be and having self-care now and not burning out in time. But that's different than focusing on the I'm not good enough, the comparison, and getting so caught up in the I can't do it, I'm not enough, you know, all the unworthiness. And that's where I teach a lot of my therapeutic work. And so, in all of this stuff, as we go through and we start to work towards our dreams, I just want to share with you that I take what you have been through and use it like pouring gas on a fire and allow that for to just that purpose to just fuel your mission. Because now as I live life and I go through every day, I'm so motivated, I'm so creative, I'm so inspired all the time because I know that creativity for me is a healing modality. Creativity is what heals me. Creativity is what took me through all of that hard time and even many challenges before that. And that sometimes we know what our purpose is and we know what our callings and we know what our gifts are, but we don't allow ourselves, we're like, nah, that can't be it. No, there's so many more people better than me that do that. And we don't fully embody that until something critical happens to us. And when we're in a big crisis and we can focus and get out on the other side, we see how short life is and how, okay, these are my gifts. This is my perfect purpose. And now I consider this my life's work. Everything I do is supporting other people, helping them go through their resistance and their challenges and come out on the other side and stay inspired and maintain hope and all the things. So that's kind of what I really focus on, is the bigger picture, is dreaming, and never stop dreaming, never stop hoping, never stop dreaming, and allow it to be the creativity and the motivation that keeps you going. And now, for I don't know how many of you are entrepreneurs or in business, but I know for me, even if you're volunteering and doing things for others and you're doing art, that's still all so, using your gifts, that now I do this in a different way. Everything I do, I see as how can I put my creativity spin on this? How can I see this as not marketing, but as creativity? How can I see this as expressing all angles of myself into my work, no matter what you're doing? And it takes away all of the grinding and the hustling and the this and the that. How can I tap into my intuition to really take this to the next level? And so that's what I want to talk about today a little bit too, is the intuition. But I think about, we're so held back in all of this, resistance and self-sabotage come up because we like to tell ourselves a lot of stories about our worthiness and that we're not, everything is hard and we're not good enough and we can't do this. And we let fear take over a lot of time. But what if you were to think that fear wasn't the enemy and just a sign that you're on the right track? Your body's way of saying, like, this is big, this is meaningful, this is growth. And just allow yourself to go through it, because I can't tell you how many times in my life, and I'm sure you can think back to times in your life or even maybe right now, where fear is holding you back from something that you really want to do, or you're just creating procrastination or putting perfectionism around it, or self-worth thoughts or fear, or looking back at all the failures that you've had and you're going back into those and emphasizing on those. But look at that thing that I tried that already and it didn't work and I didn't do that good enough. But there's people all over the world doing things that you're capable of doing, and you have much more expertise and gifts and purpose. And we tend to get all wrangled up in this, and that's why intuition is such a big part of this. We have to allow ourselves to be quiet enough to be able to hear the whispers of the intuition. Otherwise, we're just making quick decisions and reacting and reacting and reacting and reacting. But when you tap in deeply into your intuition, the path is like a fork in the road. I was teaching this the other day in one of our calls, and how everything's a path. If you think about where you are in your life right now, in this very minute, every single thing choice that you've made, and choice that you've made since you were little into a teenager, and as you've grown, and this person, you met this person, and you went in this relationship, and you chose this job, and then you went over here and you had this, and then this crisis happened, and this, every single thing has layered upon each other to bring you to this exact very point that you are right now. And so when a lot of those decisions, if you look back, probably were made, in some of them you had an intuitive thought and you followed it and it felt good and it was the right thing. And other times you can look back and know right away, oh, I so made the wrong decision. My gut told me what to do there or what not to do, and I went and did it anyway, and now I'm in this position. And so it takes time, it takes work, it takes tuning in and getting attuned basically to being able to listen to yourself and to listen to your gut or your intuition or the universe or God or whatever you want to see that as, to be able to really know what the next step is. And when when I came through all of that and focused on everything and said to myself, I'm committing 100% to, and it's learning, it's not all perfect, right? We're only humans, we're human beings on this earth. It takes practice, but I'm going to tap into my intuition and I'm going to start focusing on following that. And when I made that decision to start doing that, everything was freaky, everything was scary because my gut and my intuition were telling me, no, don't do that. Or, yes, you have to do this. And it was scary and I didn't want to. And I thought, oh, I'm going to hurt people's feelings. What were people going to think of me if I followed this way? Because internally, your intuition is deep within you. It's your soul alignment, it's your soul guiding you. And when we're separated and disconnected from this, it's like the power cord is disconnected from the wall. We're not plugged into the electricity. We're disconnected from ourself. And how do we get back to that? We have to tap into our intuition so that we start making different choices and respond differently to things. If that's how we really want to have hit these big dreams and change our life and go towards all of these things that have been on our heart for probably years and years and years and years. And of course, we're always coming up with new things and new ideas and new dreams and new things to add to the bucket list all the time, right? But what do we do first? And how do we tap into all of this? And how do we know we're following it? That's all part of the learning journey. But the first step, the very, very first step is the self awareness and being in tuned to yourself. And how do you get in tune to yourself is being quiet enough to hear the true whispers. And the second part of that is pushing past the fear and following it. And that for me was the scariest part. I don't know about you guys. When you know what you need to do, that's the part where we take the easy road. We're like, I know I need to do this, but I'm just going to say yes to this person, even though it's too much for me and I'm already burnt out and I'm already this. Or we just follow, we go against what our gut is telling us. And then how do we feel after? We're just never satisfied. We just keep repeating that and we have regrets. And we think about, well, I knew what to do and I didn't do it. And sometimes these are little things and sometimes these are big things in life. And the big things are those things that bring us to where we are today. Sometimes these big or little decisions that we've made. And so I just want for you is to be able to start tapping into that. And there's so much deep that I can go into this, but I only have 45 minutes. And there's an element here that's super important that has to be talked about, and that is reconnecting to who you truly are. Because you can't even hear the voice sometimes when we're so busy and we're tuned out and we're just running around on default like robots. We're not even we're not even tapped in. And so that's all a big part of it. And there's also a big part that is about when you come back into alignment with yourself, how you do that is you be you. And you be you sounds like something easy, but it's not. When I, after going through all of that pain and suffering and the what ifs and the unknowing and believing in fully that I was going to come back and be able to be a functioning, contributing member of society afterwards, things become really clear. You all of a sudden become way more confident. The stuff that scared you before doesn't scare you. You're taking bolder leaps. You're taking big steps. You're going for things you would have stewed over and been scared for years and not done them. And that's all kind of part of it. And what came of that led to all this deep intuition, following of this creativity and intuition is being able to come to the point of asking yourself, where am I disconnected? Where am I misaligned? What's going on in my life? And that's where you can look at all the masks that you've been wearing over time. You're this person to this person. You're this person over here at work. You act like this at home. You do this in front of that person. You coddle this person, then you're mean to this person or whatever. And the goal for me was really coming back into line, in alignment of being me, speaking my truth all the time. I'm the same Ange with my husband. I want to be the same person with my kids. I want to be the same person when you see me out in public. I'm not going to go rip someone's face off at a restaurant that didn't do something nice and then come on here and talk about, la di da. I want to be the same person, as leveled as I can. Now, we all have things, of course. I'm not saying that we're not upset or we don't get upset or angry or feel frustration or, we, but when we look at your life, look at your life at a deeper level with a magnifying glass. Sometimes we treat the people closest to us and the people we love the most the worst. And we don't mean to, we don't even know we're doing it. And so for me, I wanted to create a new baseline where I was being me, where I was speaking my truth, where I am trying as hard as I can without trying. And it's just oozing out of me who I am, my real truth without the masks, putting love, giving love to people that before I disliked, being honest and saying what's on my heart, even if I think it might hurt someone's feelings. Saying no to people now because I know what running yourself into burnout, into the massive extreme for years and years and years, because before all this crisis happened, I had a double back surgery because I wore myself in the ground trying to be everything for everyone, making sure everybody else was okay. And if that rude awakening wasn't enough, then I get the next one. Because guess what? I didn't listen to the little red flags. I did for a little while, but then life lifed again. And I started going into those same patterns and looping cycles and just burning myself out, burning myself to the ground again. And so it's a big topic. I don't normally share my story except to my own community. So it feels really special to me to do that because I want to inspire you to keep going. I want to inspire you and show you that I want you to have hope through any situation. I want you to be able to motivate yourself. I want you to be able to tap into your intuition and start making choices that you feel proud of, that you feel good about, that you know are aligned with you. All of that. And all of that begins with you doing the inner work. You must go inward. Even if it's business, even if you're figuring out, oh, I don't need the mindset work. I've got it together. I'm just doing the hustle and grind. Well, that was only going to get you so far. And it's probably going to get you where it got me into something awful. Not the same thing, not saying something horrible will happen, but saying something critical will slap you in the face when we don't listen to ourselves because our body gives us little signs and it wants us to listen, just like all these tests and things that we go through. We have to learn the lesson from these things. Otherwise, things will still keep going and going because we're perpetuating that cycle. So, learning how to turn the stuff around and utilize it in your favor is really important. Taking everything that you've been through, like pulling all these wisdom nuggets out of everything and starting to embodying who you truly are. If anything I can get across today, it's to really tap into who you really are, what you love. How long has it been since you've done things that you love so much deep in your heart before you've worried about everything else? Like we always put ourselves last, and it's we have to start making ourselves a priority and our happiness and joy a priority, because that's what gives you that. We talk about self-care all the time, but that's how we fill that cup. I talk a lot about giving from the overflow. We fill our own cup full by doing things that support us and support our growth. But when we start pouring that cup out into everybody else, our cup is dry. We're not pouring out of that cup. Where we need to give from is the overflow, the excess. So we're keeping our cup full at all times. And that is what, if I had done that, I know that the health things probably wouldn't have been to the extreme that they were. But I neglected my own heart and I neglected my own care. And people do that all the time and still nothing happens to them critical. And that's great. That's wonderful. But when you have a wake up call, like I know for some people that I was talking to about this, when something happens, it's like this thing keeps repeating until you get it, and we don't know how that's going to manifest out for everybody differently, but things just happen. Relationships can break down, health can break down, businesses can collapse. All of these things can happen when we're not tuning into ourselves. We're off the path that we should be on. We're being the be all for end all. We're doing what I said earlier about putting the mask on for this person and this person and this person. And what we really need to do is become our own best friend. You have to, you're the only person in the world that you have to be around 24 hours a day, no matter what, that you can't get away from. So you should strive to like love yourself and like yourself and treat yourself well. And so my whole life has shifted, my whole thoughts. I'm still me. I'm just pulling all the bits of me, the real bits of me out more and trying to focus on going for my big dreams and not letting anything stop me, not focusing on, oh, what if this chemo stops working? And what if this thing stops going? And what if this new heart gives out? And what if, and what if, and what if? I'm just going that I'm listening to you, universe. I'm listening to you, and I'm not going to, I don't need any more challenges. I don't need any more tests. I'm good. I'm good. I'm listening, I'm tuned in, and I'm making massive changes. And they don't all seem massive to other people, but they're massive inside of me, in my soul. And they might seem different to other people, especially when you start speaking your truth, because it's not an easy thing. It's easy to be like, oh, speak your truth, you can do it. But in reality, when you start being you and you start really being honest with everyone around you and up leveling your emotional intelligence and up leveling your emotional maturity and really saying up leveling your communication style and skills, people start being like, that's not like you. Like, you should go and do all this stuff for me now. No, no, that's not how it's working anymore. I want to be able to be in a place where I can be creative. I can go for my dreams. I can, everything I do comes from a place of genuineness, sincerity, and love. And that's my mission, and to help other people do that. So as we go along this little journey, things happen. We feel resistance. We get into self sabotage. We start doubting ourselves. I'm human just like anybody else. And we start going back. But once you're tapped in like that, you start being able to pull yourself out of that dip. You start being able to pull yourself out way faster, and you can go, hey, what am I doing? No, no, that's not me anymore. That was my, you know, stop. That was my past self. The dogs are growling. That, I'm embodying so much more now. So that's the thing. Big dreams are exciting, but they're terrifying because we have to make different choices. We have to go for things. We have to do things. But the biggest part of this is we can have joy in being imperfect along the way, right? We can just start doing the little things. We can fail and we can get back up. But the biggest piece of this whole thing is tuning in, being self aware, and building up courage and building up bravery. Allowing yourself to be seen and be heard. And a lot of us struggle from years. Lots of my clients, that's the biggest part that people struggle with is the all of those patterns of self doubt and fear and unworthiness and so many more that keep us from doing what we want to do so big, keep us on the couch curled in the blanket. But we need to balance that out with taking care of ourselves and rest. But we also need to keep ourselves inspired and motivated and going. So that's kind of like what I want to really share with you guys today. And I just wanted to open up and allow you to just share any reflections or insights on going forward, because this is a huge topic and I could probably go on for like 8 hours about it. You guys that know me from my group, like, know that all my calls go so far over. I'm trying to be good here. But there's magic in this. There's magic when you reconnect that cord and you're willing to look at the electrical cord and be like, I have this disconnect and I really want to connect it. And what do I have to do to connect that again? How can I start realigning to who I truly am? How can I dig into what my personality needs? What I feel good when I'm doing, not what other people think I should be doing and other people think that I need to say and do, but what is good for me? How do I best operate? How do I best function? What does my own unique body need? And what does my mind need? And starting from that core place, working and building outward, then you'll be able to tap into your intuition, hear it, and have the courage and bravery to follow it. So that's what I really was hoping to get across. So thank you guys for listening. And yeah.
Wow. That's all I got to say. And me and Dave took our mute buttons off like real fast right at the same time. I know we're both kind of probably itching to. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your story, for your vulnerability. And you got me. I have a million questions probably, but you brought up a lot of stuff for me. I'm going to keep this quick, but I have had 18 brain injuries in my life. I went down a decade of being a victim. I got out of that, but then I'm an incessant people pleaser. So I'm always trying to do everything for everybody. So I related so much to everything. I've been in ebbs and flows of the universe testing. Sometimes I will be leaning on my intuition, and then other times I'm trying to please everybody and wear those masks. And I fall into like dips of the universe testing me with the same things because it's like I'll do good for a while, then I slip back. Then I do good, then I slip back. Not with addictions or anything, but like more with being me and being afraid to be me because of my head and my mental, the way I want to be almost approval by everybody around me. I'm constantly looking for approval. So I'm constantly trying to please people. So you brought up a lot of things for me, and I thank you is the big thing. I don't even really have my main question is what do you think was the number one thing that kept you out of victim mentality when everything started to come on you heavy? The back surgeries, the cancer. Like what was the one thing that really kept you grounded and not in victim mentality? Because it's easy to do.
Oh, thank you, first of all. And I'm glad that stuff resonated because we're all human and we do go through those ebbs and flows. And like everybody, it's just about having creating that sharpness of the self-awareness to become such a habit in your life that you just jump out of it faster and you get back to your baseline. And you got to know where your baseline is, I think, and what your real baseline is, the true you, who you truly are, and then coming back up to that. But I think what kept me going is generally I'm a really optimistic person. What kept me going was that this isn't my time. My children need me. This can't, this is, I just refuse to absolutely believe that this is going to take me down from the start. It didn't matter what anyone came and like, because the doctors make a big deal when they come tell you, they gather your family and they come into the room and they're all standing around. There was 20 people standing there before because the disease I have, the type of cancer that damages your organs is very rare. And so when they came to tell me this, they're all somber and I was just like, I looked very, very sick and was a very sick person, but I was just like, okay, well, what are we doing about it? Like, what's my next step? How are we treating this? Where are we going from here? Because I got kids, I got grandbabies, and brand new one that I wanted to see born at that time. And I was like, I just want to get out of here. Just tell me what I need to do on my part to heal and start the healing journey. and I will do everything because I just felt that motive. I felt the flashes come back from my all of the things that I'd went through as a child, and the things I went through as a teenager, and the bullying and the surgeries and the divorce and the horrible custody battles, and I just thought that if that didn't take me down, this isn't going to take me down, even though in my mind, it, to me, to them, it was all their face was like, oh, this is like a not coming back from thing, you know, you're being really hopeful here. And I just refused to believe that. And I just keep going and I focus on living every single moment that I'm going to be alive till I'm 94, because 94 is the goal that my grandma is still 94. So if she lives another year, I'm going to put mine up to 95, because me and her are like this, and we are like super close and exactly like each other. And I just go that I'm going to live till I'm 94. And if I don't, and you know, things change, then I'll deal with those things as they come. But I'm not going to focus on the what ifs and the living in the anxiety, stress mode of tomorrow and the next week, because it just dampens and ruins and puts a black cloud on everything I'm working on, all the things that the mission that I'm on to support people working through their own pain and purpose and dreams and goals and all of the things and therapy and things like that. So I just to make it short, I just never allowed it to come into my vision. I was like, something was changed. Something shifted so massively, and it still hasn't changed, if that helps. Maybe it was a choice.
Love that. Great answer. Dave, I see you got your thing off. You
No,
can go next.
Sarah took herself off of mute.
Oh, I was just kind of joining back in, but everything that you
Okay.
shared was like incredible, and I started to well up a couple times.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that's
I,
thanks,
awesome.
I'm
Sarah.
the things that hit me, for one, I lost my dad in 2016 to renal failure, which was really a result of some cancer in the body. So we went through the chemo, and the choice of just choosing to live, I understand. I haven't gone through it personally, but I watched it, right? So thank you for sharing. I know how hard it is. I almost felt like I could feel you welling up a couple times. So it resonates. You covered, so right from the beginning. I went to a conference last year, and I think Ed Milet asked the question on stage, but what is the most expensive piece of real estate in the world? Nope. The most expensive piece of real estate in the world is graveyards, because there's more dreams and money and things buried in a graveyard that people didn't take the chance, the opportunity to dream bigger,
Hmm.
and they left this world without
Hmm.
it. So, Angela, your opening statement of dreaming, that's where I went instantly with that. And then you covered things like self-care isn't selfish. It didn't happen to me, it happened for me. Um, all of these realizations that you have to face in your journey, right? Like you can't, you said something, oh, I don't need the mindset. Well, the reality is all of those things. I personally, and I know there's others on this call too, boundaries. Telling people no only affects the people who have been taking advantage of you. Not the
Mm.
people who really care about you, because when you say no to those people,
Hmm.
yeah, those are the people who want to take advantage of you, want to abuse your time, right? And I guess the last thing I'll say about it is the dreams. People want nothing more than to pull you back down to their level of success. And when you're striving to achieve, they don't understand, because they're losing the version of you that they know,
Hmm.
and your
Mm.
dream's not theirs.
Hmm.
And that's the hardest part to me, is your dream is not theirs. And when you share it and it gets shit on, yeah, it's hard, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Totally.
yeah, so thanks. I mean, like you covered, in like, to Brandon, like you hit so many things. To me, the dream thing weaves everything together, because again, that quote lives rent free in my head, is that the most expensive piece of real estate in the world is a graveyard, because that's where dreams are buried, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's an awesome one. That's awesome
and
for sure.
you're 94, you said?
Yeah.
My first year in the military, I had the same dream. I mean, over and over and over and over again. I lived to be 106.
Oh,
So,
mine's not a dream. Mine's just the age of my grandma. She's still
oh,
alive.
okay,
So I
okay.
want to match her. I want to match
Yeah,
her.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
it
hey,
could be
listen,
coming in a
that's a dream.
dream.
That's an aspiration, right?
It is.
I have Sicilian and Russian blood, or Italian and Russian blood in me. I have many members of my family who have lived into their mid 90s and late 90s, but 106 is my goal. That's my fence post. I've told my
Wow.
children many,
I love
many
it.
times, this is where I'm going. This is what's going to happen. Yeah. I'm going to be
I
the
love
next
that.
alchemist. I'm convinced. And and Angela, you've read the book, right?
Which book?
The
The
Alchemist.
alchemist.
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'm not going to get on my soapbox. I'm not going to get on my
Okay.
soapbox.
I got a
That's
new
my
read.
gift, right? I sent that to him. I just finished reading it for the probably 13th or 14th time. It's the third most printed book in the world behind the Bible and the Quran. And the story you told about the journey, I would love to have a conversation with you in a month after you've read it. It's 4
Oh,
hours
who?
of audio. It's 4 hours of audio if you audiobook. I can send you a free copy off of YouTube, but it is just a story that your story gravitates in every way. It
Oh,
resonates in
wow. Who
it.
wrote that book?
Paul Kalea.
Oh, okay. It's not the one I was thinking of. Yeah, I'd love to listen to it. I love
Yeah,
reading and books, so
yeah.
I have
That
many.
and I would tell you to Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken, is a poem that makes I could literally put my life in every stanza.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah. I'll follow up with you afterwards and share those. But
Yeah,
those
that
things,
sounds so great.
your story is so powerful and so big, like big. You took up this screen in a tiny little box, because yeah. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank you.
so much. Appreciate that. Yeah, and the whole thing when you just tapped into, I just want to briefly share about
Yeah,
when you talked about other people's will dampen your joyride when you're going for your dreams. Now, like there's people like that, and then there's people like my mom. Like my mom is the biggest encourager. She'd be like, you could do anything and tell her you want to do anything, and she'd be
the
like
big cheerleader,
cheering you
right?
on
Yeah,
legitimately, like with all her heart. And then there's other people who would just want to throw you off their game or kind of give you all the reasons why you shouldn't do it and why are you doing that. And I actually have an experience with that where years ago I let somebody continue to tell me that I there's no point in doing that. This isn't going anywhere. Show me where you're making this money. But I've been an entrepreneur at heart since I started my first lemonade stand when I was a little girl. On my doing 10 different paper routes, and then people would get me to do different things for them on the side, and I would do all this stuff, and I'd do this things for the seniors, and I was always doing something for myself. And so as I grew up, that was always on my heart. One big dream was I'm going to be an entrepreneur. That's my dream. I might work for other people in between, but I want to initially be working for myself. And this person just kept on and on and on, and at that point my foundation wasn't strong like it is today, and I would keep going, I would push through, but then I would be like, oh, my wheels would be spinning, and there was so much pressure, and I ended up giving in to that thought. And internally what we do then, we blame that person for us giving up, because I can still go back to that moment of listening to that person telling me and talking me down and saying all the reasons why I'm not going to make it and I shouldn't bother and this and that. And then when I was creating it, like things were evidence that, oh, maybe they're right. I am not doing that. I only have a few clients and I only have this, and it's not growing as fast as we want because we think things should just happen like this. And that's not how it usually works. then I gave into that. And then I thought about that for years. It never left. And so it's so important to build up this strength and foundation of courage and bravery and knowing who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, you can't, it's hard to beat that and let that noise out the one ear and out the other, where now it doesn't matter what anybody says to me, I could care less. I'm going for it. I to me it's like I don't have time to waste. I'm not wasting time. I mean, maybe I'll live till I'm 94, but maybe something will happen next year. I have no idea. So I'm just going to go for everything with the time I have right now. And I'm not going to give up, and I'm not going to let any naysayer say, and you know what? This person's still in my life, not as significantly, but they're still in my life. And now they're like a huge supporter. It's like, where did you turn? I can't believe. And so, but and then we tell then I have to break free of letting that story go that I was holding on to, that I was using them as though they're the reason I gave up. They're the reason I shouldn't have, and, blaming myself. And so we really have to know who we are, and we really have to honor who we are at our core and honor our dreams and our own unique gifts. And everybody's on a different path, and we shouldn't be judging somebody else and criticizing other people. And we need to monitor that with ourselves on how we talk to other people and how we judge each other, and just see everyone as their own unique journey and what they're doing, and honor that for them, and love on them for them, and be the encourager for that person. And don't be that person that we still remember, like, oh, I remember that. Being that person, like I said, we're the same person here and we're the same person here. And so that can be a really optimistic way of supporting other people, and not being that person, because nobody wants to be that person that someone else leaves after visiting you and they're like, what a downer, that person's so unsupportive, and all they thought about was the negative. I went there to be encouraged and uplifted, and I left feeling down and out. And so be the person to lift somebody else up. Dig deep and remember your dreams and how much it hurts when people say that to you. Offer them support. I think that's a really important part of being an entrepreneur and being on this journey of all of us together as one, and having some unity and support. Not even if you're an entrepreneur, just anybody going for something, doing something that they love and want to do, and honor that. So yeah, and I thank you guys for allowing me to share today. It was really fun, and hopefully it wasn't too scattered, because normally I make a little bit of notes, but I didn't have any warning today, so it was just complete winging it.
Hey,
You
I
don't
think you did
need
absolutely
notes.
fantastic. You don't need
Yeah,
notes.
you don't.
This is all
Yeah,
you.
you're not winging. You're not winging your life, Angela.
No.
You
You
can't
know
do
what
it
I
wrong.
mean? Yeah.
And honestly, me and Angela talked about this a little bit briefly before the recording, before everyone showed up. And she mentioned she would love to do another call someday as a guest here in Evergreen. And I know I could probably speak for everyone when I'd say we'd absolutely love that. Because
Yeah.
again, I'm gonna like go off of this call and journal. Like I have a therapy thread with my Chat GPT bot that I do. Like I'm ready to turn on the voice note and be like, okay, who am I? Like we need to set these we need to set these hard, because there's so many things that you brought to light for me, and I know probably for others on this call as well. And this recording is probably going to touch many for a long time. I can't thank you enough for doing this. I know it's helped me point me in the right direction on a few things. So thank you so much, Angela. If anyone else has any questions or any last minute things, take yourself off of mute. Go ahead. Otherwise, Angela, that was amazing. It really was. I can't thank you enough for that.
Thanks for allowing me to come and share a bit of my story, and hopefully inspire you guys and keep you
I know you
going.
definitely did for me. There were some areas in my life where I needed to look at, not differently, but look at the same I have been that I've just kind of been pushing away, maybe out of fear of judgment, maybe a few things. So I really thank you for shining a light on a few moments for me. And I know I see Sarah shaking her head, and I could see light bulbs going off with
Oh
Dave.
yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
it's been an amazing call. I love these guest calls. It gives us an opportunity to really connect with our members. And thank you. And we will post these. I will send you the recording as well. You can post it in your community, and we will post these in our community shortly. And I hope everybody has a great night. And I'm going to post a follow-up thread. If there is any more questions or insight for Angela, drop in the thread in Evergreen and kind of let everyone know to check this recording out because it's worth it. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming. And everyone have a great night.
Awesome. Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.